Hey everybody, welcome to Switchback Off-Road. My name is Ben, and today I have an awesome product from Trailrax I want to share with you. Just looking around, looking at the market for roof racks. Had a couple different options in mind. There's some popular companies out there, but just from some research and also some personal experience I was asking others about on this particular rack, I went ahead and went with this one. Can't wait to show it to you guys. Hope you enjoy. So just getting into this today, this is the Trailrax trimmer rack. I'm gonna kind of talk as I'm unboxing, so you can kind of see what to expect when this comes in. I wanted to make this video because there are not any install videos that I have found that I just really liked. And there are really good instructions for this online for Trailrax, but I just wanted to make a video. So at the very top, we've got the wind deflector. This is just going to be the front rack. This is their modular trimmer rack. And so the reason that I'm going with this is because we are running the Explorer Elevated truck top camper on the back of our Gladiator. And I really wanted something that would kind of help deflect air up and over that. And so this wind fairing here is going to do that. This is also going to give us great ability to mount our Starlink permanently, because I've been looking at different options for that. Have a couple different companies in mind that I really like. But just check out some of this packaging. It's all really nice. It's all labeled really well. And then I'm going to go ahead and break into the instructions, and we're going to start figuring out what all these different things are, and we're going to start piecing them together. I am going to go step by step. I want this to be as thorough and detailed so that you can just follow along once you get your trimmer rack in from Trailrax. One important thing that I like about this is that it is made in the USA. In fact, pretty sure in Salt Lake City. So that is pretty cool. Really awesome job on all the packaging. I love it. Your packaging consists of a few different things. Your major components are the wind fairing, the extrusion crossbars. You've got your side plates here. One cool thing about these is they have this 90-degree bend in them, which helps kind of reduce that load. Actually allows you to have a little bit more support. You've got your feet for the rack, which is another cool thing. A little bit of the weight sits on these feet rather than just being on the gutters of your roof. You've got your clamps for the gutters right here. You've got your little logo plate, block off plate, and then you've got your wind fairing strip, your foam for the feet, and then you've also got a couple more different wind fairing strips and gaskets and all. And then of course your hardware. And it looks to all be the same, so we're gonna jump right in. All right, I've got everything somewhat out of its packaging, got it where I can read everything. All right, so we're gonna go step by step. Step one is to place the rubber seal evenly onto this fairing. So let me start from the end and see what that does. Yeah, that turned out perfect. So yeah, the instructions say to start from center and work your way out, but if you start from the edge, at least in my case, they gave me the perfect amount of stripping to go from side to side. All right, I've got everything out into place where it needs to be. Step one, we're gonna grab 10 of these 1/4-inch hex bolts. We're gonna put a washer on each of them, and then they've gotta go through the fronts of the wind fairing, and then they're gonna get a T-slot capture nut on the back side. There are only 10 of these, so this should be the only thing that they are used for. So just grab them all. All right, we got that done. I'm gonna keep this flipped over. The next thing we're gonna do is kind of put that to the side for a second, and then you go ahead and install the logo plate here on the back, just like that, and it'll show through on the driver's side right here. We'll flip this over. Step 3, we're gonna grab all of our feet here, and I've already gone ahead and done it, but I'll show you. What you're gonna do is grab these foam cutouts, you'll stick them on, and then you trim off the excess around them. I've already gone ahead and done that. And then we grab our clamping system on each side, and you put these weather strips on them, and set those back to the side, and then we get to step number 1 for the actual assembly. This is all, now this is like all the small parts, we've got them together. We're now ready to go ahead and start putting the full rack together. So let's do it. The first step is going to be to grab one piece of extrusion, and we're going to slide this down all of our T-slots on the wind fairing. This may be tricky to do with one person. I'll let you know. Oh, well, going pretty easy. As long as you got a good table to work with. I'll also like personally standing while I do work. So this is working out pretty good. All right, and this goes pretty much edge to edge. Let's see, we're gonna grab our 1-inch washers, and we're going to grab the bolts and the feet. So that should look like this right here, and these nuts right here. These are nylon lock nuts, and we're going to feed them into these 2 holes right there. Make sure the feet are facing up, because that's where it's going to rest on your rack. So your feet should be facing up right now, because this is upside down, but then once you flip this over, your 90-degree bend will be up. So put that in. Just hand thread our nut on there. Repeat it for this front section. And again, we're not tightening anything quite yet. All right, we're going to repeat this step for the passenger side, or this might be the driver's side, I don't really know. Putting a bolt through, grabbing our feet, they're facing up, hand threading our nylon lock nut on there. Again, bolt through with washer, nylon lock nut, threading that through. 2 more times. See if I can put both of these in there at the same time. Got our bolts, our feet, nylon lock nuts. Perfect. All right, we're just going to leave those free hanging for now. We're now going to install each aluminum extrusion using the 3/4 inch bolts, and those are going to go on the ends, and it wants us to apply a small amount of Loctite for each bolt. This might be a little more tricky with our space, so let's just kind of see what happens. Actually, no, this is facing the front. This is my passenger side, this is my driver's side. So what I'm going to try to do is do the wind fairing first and get that sitting, you know, on this end of the shot towards you guys, and then I'll try to install these other two. So, all right, we need to take 2 per side of our 3/4 inch, and we need to put a washer on them. It's 2 per side, so you should have 4. I'm actually going to do this toward me so that it'll sit properly, because I've already got the logo over here. So this is passenger side, and let's just kind of see what happens. It's got a little twist off thing on there. Having big hands and doing this is a little bit of a challenge. All right, so I'm just going to put a little bit, just like that, on the very end of it. And then hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing over here. Doing this with one hand is a challenge. So maybe grab a extra set of hands for this step. All right, I've got that started pretty well by hand to where it's going to hold. Let's flip around and see if I can get this passenger side on, or driver side actually. All right, blue Loctite on both, and then I'm just finding the extrusion holes over here. Ooh, a little bit trickier over here. There we go. Once you get it started, it goes in super easy. You should be able to thread these in by hand. Do not force them, because if you strip extrusion out, you're either going to have to wait on some new bars, or you're going to have to go buy yourself a tap kit and hope that works. All right, we've got the front panel attached. I'm going to somewhat run these down a little bit more. But we're still keeping them kind of just hand tight. I'm gonna go ahead and try to do the back. I'm hoping that once I've got the back, then I can kind of lift this up onto the table, put all of our stuff here in the middle, and then you guys can see a little better. All right, we're gonna put this rack, or this extrusion, at the back. Let's go ahead and prepare our 3/4 inch bolts. I need 4 of them for the back piece. All right, I'm gonna lift up. I'm gonna sit this piece to the side for a moment. We're gonna rotate this back. And hopefully be sitting pretty close to where we need to be. Hopefully y'all can see. No, you can't. Let me move you back. There we go. All right, we're gonna install these back pieces now. Again, should go in super smoothly by hand. And I'm running that pretty much all the way down by hand. All right, we got that one done. Now we're gonna grab our last piece, kind of maneuver it in here. Should go about right there. Again, prepare our nuts. Oh, super important detail I just missed. We need to make sure that there's gaps for your T-slot to insert into. Good to know. All right, that means we got to redo the rear here real quick. Because if you can't insert anything to mount, it doesn't really do you any good. But we'll go ahead and get this middle extrusion on, then we'll redo the back real quick. All right, we got our extrusion bars on, starting to look like a rack. We can just kind of flip it around and show you. There we go. And honestly, guys, this is not very heavy at all. So that's kind of nice. All right, now I can lay our extrusion on the table. Let's see what our next steps are. Our next step is to put it on the vehicle. So let's do it. Okay, it says to grab another person, but I don't really have that luxury right now. So we're going to not grab another person. Just got to figure out how to not slam it up there. All right, those feet really help. It says just to center it. Oh, a couple of my feet pads came off. That's what I get for doing it by myself. We'll stick those back on and then just kind of try to start positioning it. Another tricky thing is with those feet not tightened down, the sides aren't very sturdy. So what I think I might do is go ahead and do that, even though the instructions said not to. I don't know why. Those feet aren't connecting to anything else. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and tighten up those legs, and then hopefully that allows me to adjust it. Okay, so just full transparency. I couldn't tighten the legs with it on the Jeep. I don't know if I just didn't do something right or what. Now, One thing I'm a little concerned about, apparently you're not supposed to tighten this wind fairing down until you've got it positioned, because you're supposed to be able to like adjust it. But I'm real nervous about being able to reach up there and tighten each individual thing. So I'm thinking I might get these just a little bit more snug. That way there's very minimal, if any, tightening. But I did go ahead and tighten the legs up, and you know, honestly, I'm kind of thinking I'm probably supposed to go ahead and tighten the extrusions down, because it's, I mean, if it's all tight, then it's, in theory, it's square. There shouldn't be much adjustment needed. So I'm thinking I'm gonna go ahead and do that, especially before this blue Loctite hardens. And I'm also kind of rushed because we're supposed to have storms moving in tonight, and I'd like to have this done before then. So I'm going a little bit off book here, just full disclosure, because I don't believe that it has told me to tighten anything down yet. But also just getting a wrench into these nylon lock nuts once it's up there. I did 1 foot while it was up there, and it was a challenge. So, all right, I've got the extrusions and the feet for the side pieces tightened up. I've still got the wind fairing loose enough to where I can move it around. Full transparency, that was not what the instructions said, but I think that's what's going to be easiest as far as like real world install application goes. So let's get this back up here, try not to scratch up the roof, and we'll go from there. Felt like the best method was to just kind of slide it. All right, we'll go over there because I should be able to reach now. Make sure our paint protectors on our feet stayed on, which they did. All right. So I think what we need to do is go forward. And just try to get the slope of the roof the same. So I think we're close on the passenger side. Yeah, I think we're really close. Maybe just a little bit off center. There we go. I think that's it. So the way that's supposed to work is that's supposed to pretty much just keep the same angle of the windshield all the way up. So I think we're close enough. And hopefully once we get the sides clamped down, then we can adjust the wind fairing, and then should be good to go. All right, we're back on track with the instructions. So the instructions actually do say to leave the feet loose until it's up there, and I think it's so they can kind of adjust to whatever angle you're on. That was just going to be too hard for me doing this by myself. As far as lifting that back up, if you had an extra set of hands, do that. Stick to the instructions. The next step, we're going to grab the mounting clamps. This says install inner clamps with inner clamp. This is the driver's side. The driver's side inner clamp is JG1 for the front. The passenger side inner clamp JG2 on the front, and then universal clamp JG3 for all remaining mounting points. So JG3s are going to go on these back 2 on the passenger side and the driver's side, and then this is going to be JG2 for the passenger side and then JG1 on the driver's side. So let's go ahead and get those installed. Okay, it's getting darker by the minute, so I might have to just show you how this goes and then go ahead and finish out. So this is what this looks like. You gotta kind of pull this back down to see that that's JG2. So that's going on the passenger side front. But what this looks like is you put this one carriage bolt on the back side of this plate with a washer and a nut, and that's where that clamp is going to come from. And then you put a washer and a bolt, 1-inch bolt on the outside, and kind of repeat that. I dropped my other one. It goes right here, like so. And then where this is going is right here. So what you're doing is placing this in that gutter. That's going to support that. And then you got to get those nuts and bolts on the inside. This honestly might require a step stool, and I think it is, so I'm going to go grab one. All right, let's hope this cheap plastic doesn't fail. I'm a little bit scared. Hopefully it'll be all right though. It's the only way I'm going to be able to reach it. This thing is super tall. Oh, gonna have to go hunt that down. All right, we got a locker, got a lock washer and we got a lock nut and a washer on that one side. I gotta find the other. Ooh, it didn't go too far, good. Cut back up. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, this would be a lot easier if somebody was standing here handing you things. Or if you have a little kid that likes to learn how to do things, if you can get them to crawl up here, then they could be doing this with their hands. I'm gonna go ahead and grab our JG3 bracket. Y'all probably can't see me right now, but I'm putting the carriage bolt in, grabbing our two 1-inch hex bolts and 4 washers to go with those. So I'm actually sliding these down into this gutter first, which might not work. Yeah, it doesn't. All right, so you gotta put it in the mounting space first, and then do that. Put it in the mounting holes first, then slide it down into the gutter. And after this, I'm gonna go complete the driver's side, and then prayerfully we'll have enough daylight to be able to show you. Otherwise, we'll pick back up in the morning. So I'm gonna leave these loose because it hadn't told me to tighten them up yet. I'm gonna leave these loose. I'm gonna go do the driver's side, and then we'll assess our light situation. All right, getting super dark out now, but I'm on the last step. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. I'm sorry it's not the greatest, but this is the last step. And then I'll get with you guys in the morning, show you what it looks like, give you the final thoughts of the install, and so forth. So final step, before you loosen these sides, you go ahead and clamp it onto the gutters. I've already gone ahead and done this one, and what you want to do is grab these outer, I think they're the JG10 clamps, and you clamp them on there, and you kind of tighten it up until the JG2 and the JG3 clamps start to bow. And I have another nut to find now. There it is. So just like this, put that clamp on the bottom of the gutter, put on your washer, and then get that nut to capture the castle bolt. If that castle bolt comes out of the little square it's supposed to be in. It makes it a little more difficult, but just kind of find it and start tightening down. This might be easier to do with a ratchet, but you've got to keep that castle bolt in there at the same time. But once it catches, it snugs up pretty quick. So don't overdo it. Don't snap your gutter off, but you're literally just waiting to see this kind of start to flip back out towards you. All right, so that's on there pretty solid. And then the last steps are just to tighten this up. If you're doing this where you didn't tighten the feet earlier, what you'll do is go ahead and do that when you're tightening these outer pieces. Since I already did that, I don't have to do that, but it's resting on there pretty well. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these up, and it's super dark now. I can barely see myself on the preview screen. It might be okay on camera, but I'm gonna see you guys in the morning to finish this up, show you all the details, and make sure we do it right. So, just kidding. I just figured out a way to get more light on my camera, so we're gonna keep going. Yeah, I think that's good. We're gonna go ahead, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and repeat on the other side first before I tighten all of these, and then make sure it's in place good. If you kind of pull out where that castle, I think it's called a castle bolt. If you kind of pull out on that to where it's in its little groove, makes it a lot easier. So you just get that nut started and then pull out as you're twisting. Makes that a little bit easier. All right, how are we looking? Oh, y'all can still see perfectly fine. Good. All right. Then they provide these little caps for you, and those go on the outsides just to cover up those stainless steel nuts. We'll see how long those stay on. Y'all know how we get in the Ozarks and everywhere pretty much. We'll see if those last. But they are super cheap, and I'm sure I can get some replacements somewhere. All right, we are ready to tighten up the side mounts. It's all of these little nylon lock bolt nuts, whatever. Nylon lock nuts, official term. They are a 7/16. This would be a lot easier if you had some of those Allen bits that will go into a ratchet. So I'm getting that as tight as I can. Not like excessively, but I'm getting that, you know, pretty tight with the Allen key, and then I'm giving it about a quarter turn with the wrench on the back end after it's done. All right, that's one down. I'm gonna go ahead and finish that. You guys don't know, you guys don't need to see me tighten 6 more bolts. I think you guys will have that pretty easy on your own. But the remaining steps are to tighten all those bolts, and then just make sure our wind fairing is where we want it to be, and then tighten that down. So I'm gonna do that tonight. It's gonna be dark. That's your last step, and then I'll see you guys in the morning. All right, well, it is the next morning, and it's a little bit brighter out than it was yesterday. I did not see the sun at all yesterday when I was out working. But we got it done. Like I said, I just went ahead and tightened up each of these clamp plates to the sides, and then we went and I forgot to tighten up these wind fairing bolts, and then we just kind of adjusted this to where we wanted it, and I just kind of slid it all the way down on the windshield, and then we just tightened the front bolts. But it turned out great. Super sturdy. When you shake it, you can hear it just kind of moving the weather stripping on the Freedom panels, but it looks really good. It's gonna match up to where our camper is gonna be. Our camper's gonna come out to about right here, so probably have like an inch or so gap, but it just looks great. Let me kind of walk you around. Looks really awesome. So these clamps are super nice. I like that they put the weather stripping in them. I'm curious to see how that affects drainage. But I mean, it is protecting the paint, so I like that. I like that it has the feet on the inside there, if you look through, to kind of distribute some of that weight. And then also it's not all that weight that's just on these gutters, because these are just fiberglass. Love that the contour matches the windshield angle perfectly. I mean, they are spot on with that. And I'm curious to see what that does as far as wind noise with the KC lights. They don't really whistle as it is. They're pretty quiet, so I'm curious to see. I do have a whistle from over here lately, though. I think it's passing through this bracket, so curious to see if anything changes there, because if I stick my hand out the window and kind of just put it right here and cover it up, it does just fine. So the lighting is really bad on this side. I'm going to go back over to the passenger side, but it looks great. Hopefully you can see smoothly. There's that 90-degree angle. Just adds a lot of support, and just, it is so sturdy. So sturdy. And then we're gonna plan to put our Starlink up on top here, and that's gonna be nice. We may do some, eventually do some lights on the side as well. There's some, squares here for pass through. You could hook something into here, tie it off, whatever you want to do, but I really like it. Well guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope this kind of gave you some perspective to the install. Couldn't really find any install videos. Wanted to make it a little more formal and just like instructive, but we kind of get off into our own style. But I hope it did give you some insight on how to put it together. I've got to go back and chop up some things, make sure I'm showing each step correctly, but install wasn't that bad. An extra set of hands would be really nice, but I mean, other than that, this was super easy. Trailrax has a super solid product. I'll be doing a long-term review. We're going on a trip next week back out to Utah. I'll let you know how it holds up there, and then when we get back, we'll probably put on our Starlink and maybe a couple other things if we need to mount some things. But I'll do a more long-term review once I get some experience with it. But so far, I think it looks great, and man, I just based on the install and how the quality is, I'm recommending it so far. So I might do 3 or 4 trips before I do a long-term review video, but so far this feels pretty solid. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Not sure what we will have next week. I'm thinking about a few different video ideas that I want to do. So y'all just stay tuned, hit that like and subscribe button. At this point, we are 21 subscribers away from that 1,000 mark, and would love to hit that by the end of 2025. So thank you guys for all the support, for all the comments, the encouragement. Really do appreciate all of that and the feedback. So hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.